Welcome back to another video here on the second channel. I am currently live on twitch.tv/xisumatwo when recording this video. Not something that I normally do, but hello to everyone in chat. Chat is going to be here throwing some opinions at me because we're doing the Mumbo Jumbo mob farm tier list thing. Don't know if it's a challenge or whatever. You're going to hear my thoughts on all the different farm types and where I would put them. I'm also going to try and be a little bit breezy with some of my explanations here, as I'm not going to be editing this video. And also props to Mumbo for coming up with this idea. I watched his video, I thought this is fantastic. I like listening to him talk about all the farms, and I think most people would enjoy listening to that, right? So this is what we're doing. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on what I think I would put the order of these in. Now, what I will say is that I'm going to base this on how I like to play Minecraft and what seems fun and challenging to me. So there will be some things you might disagree with that I will put in different places on this list, and that's just how it's gonna be, right? So we will start off with, let's see, I wanted to start off with something, yeah, kind of basic. So a villager farm, farming villagers, just creating them, not particularly that interesting to me. I'm going to start off with grading this one as a C. Now, I don't particularly enjoy the villager stuff as much as other things in this game. I've done it once in Season 2 big time, and occasionally I've dabbled with them before, but villager farming isn't the most fun operation to me, so it goes lower down on the list. Now, a snow farm, it's kind of cool to set up, but it's really good for getting snow, but it's never the most fun thing because it's just using the snow golem. It's very basic, it's kind of old. I'm going to put that one at C. I'm also looking into chat over here and just seeing what they're saying about some of this stuff. Ice farms are a little bit more fun. You know, ice farm is... there's many different ways that you can do an ice farm. And it's pretty useful as well. So I think ice goes into the B category for me. Okay, then we have a wood farm. So you can do these manually, you can do them with TNT. They're a really common resource for building. So that to me, I think it would be between an A or a B, but I'm going to put it in the B category for now, just because chopping down wood with an axe, vanilla style, without the aid of a farm, is also really good. So I've always enjoyed chopping down trees and never been too fussed about making a farm. Then we have Cactus. Now, I'm going to put this one down at E. You really only need it for dye. Dye is useful for building. Occasionally you might use it in a farm design, and the oldest and most basic of farm types kind of work for that. So we'll put it down in... Some people are saying that the wood farm should be an A. You know, it's between an A and a B for me. Cocoa beans, I think, is going to be the same category as Cactus. To be fair, it has a little bit more flexibility. If there was a D category here, I think I would bump it up a notch and put it in the D category. But it is good for getting dye from, so I think for that reason it will just stay in that one, as it's like a dye farm, right? Then we have mushroom soup. Now this is literally just getting a mushroom and getting food from it. Because it is useful for food, I'm going to put it in the E category. It's not terribly fun. I mean, I could almost put it in Z just because there's no real challenge. And you don't really like having the... You know, I'm actually going to put that one in Z. Okay, if mushroom soup could stack, or if it had another use as a food source, I'd say it's alright. Now, pumpkin pie farm is something I don't particularly gravitate towards, just because this food is usually redundant by the time you get to other ones, but it is a food source. It kind of requires multiple other farms that would have higher grades. But I think you're going to see a common theme with me. This is going as a Z because there's too many food sources in this game, right? And once you've gotten the good one, there's not a lot of incentive to make a farm specifically for the lower one. Now, when it comes to steak and pork chops, they're really good early game food sources. Playing with the mobs is pretty fun. I think I'm going to put this at a C for both of those. And if you remember my YouTube history, I am the animal farming man. There was a time when I would have put them at the top level. So those two are going over here. I'm seeing a lot of disagreeing in chat about my decisions. Peeps, like, it's fine to disagree. I'm just telling you my thoughts and feelings. Now, I think wool farms are fantastic. They were much more interesting to make before the Spencers could work with them. I think I'm going to put this up here as a B. Because wall blocks are so good for building, there's always a real push and incentive to do it. I'd say that's one of those ones that straddles B and A for me. A wool farm is really fun. And there are a few different ways to do it, so that's cool. Now, chorus flower farm and chorus fruit I would pretty much put in the same category. Now, their only use is really that they create purple blocks for building. Otherwise, they're not particularly fun, so I think they belong in category E. I'd actually be inclined for cleaning this up. Just let's pretend they're grouped together. Should I remove them? Should I keep them? Do you know what? I'm just going to keep them because that's the way that Mumbo did it. But I consider those two and those two pretty much the same farm. Now, Bamboo Farm and Kelp are kind of similar because you farm them in similar ways. Now, Kelp can make fuel, and it's a lot of fun to make those flying machines. That's not the only way you have to do it. It's got flexibility. Same goes for the bamboo. You can do it manually as well. I think I'm going to put both of these in the C category there. They're pretty solid projects to do. In fact, you can kind of do them on like a more industrial scale, so maybe they would tip more towards B in my mind. I love looking at chat because every time I look at chat it's like, oh, this thing, that thing, A, B, C, D. But some people are pointing out that these can be used for end rods as well. That would make them a light source and definitely more useful. I think that's a good reason. I mean, there'd be honorary D class. Why does it go from C to E? What happened to D, Mumbo? Where is the D? We need a D category. Goodness me. I'm going to leave it where it is. You know, I've sort of stated that some of these are stronger than others. Now, the next two, again, like, these are some classic farms that I've designed, the vertical melon and pumpkin farms, but even still, I think I'm tempted to put them in the Z category. I wish there was one more category here. I feel like we needed a D row. You know what I mean? Do they go in Z or do they go in E? Because you rarely need them, and I don't use them for trading with. You can build with them. I think I'm going to put them in Z. Because we don't have the D category, I'm going to just drop them down to the bottom one. They're not massively fun anymore. And, you know, their uses haven't really changed in a long time. Sugarcane, many different ways to do this. Flying machines, pretty sure that's a solid E farm right there. They've kind of been done to death, some of these farms as well, which is another thing to consider. The older it's been in the game, like, the less inclined I am to rate it, I guess. Now, the chicken farm, it's got to go in the C category, but maybe even the B, just because of that early game getting going, and it's the most popular video on my channel, the old cooking the chicken automatically. I think it goes in a B. Now, an egg farm, same logic as Mumbo, really. You know, you build a chicken farm and you get eggs. So a specific egg farm, nah. Now, ink sacs ink sac farms I've always found really fun. I would be tempted to put them in category E because their only use is a dye, but I've always had a lot of fun doing ink farm projects. Sometimes it involves building perimeters. There's a multitude of ways to build it. I think that one belongs in the C category. Then we have wheat. I've got to say, you can build fields with them. You can bone meal by standing on the block with it. You can do a micro farm, but I mean, it's good for breeding animals. That's the only reason it's not going to go in the Z category. Again, bread is a pretty useless food, considering the effort you put into it. Carrots is going to go in the bottom. Again, just a food source with not too much going for it. Potatoes will go down there. Beetroots will go down there. Bread itself, again, will end up down there because it's basically wheat with less options. And then we have slime. So we're filling up the Z category with all the duds in the game. What was it? Bread? 1, 2, 3. That's it, yeah. Now, slime. Where does slime go? Is it the top or is it A? I might come back and change this later on. Slime farms can be built in a multitude of ways. They're fantastic projects. They involve a lot of digging. I'm going to put it in the A category for now, just as a marker, because I might change that when we come back. Let's clear all of this. And let's let's see, where were we? We're now looking at all mob farm or a zombie farm. Okay. And then a skeleton farm. And then a creeper specific farm. And then the cave spider, Enderman, the witch farm, and the blaze farm. So a lot of mob farms right there. I think we're going to see more things fill up the top now, right? So I think the Enderman Farm used to be a Category S, but with the introduction of the Elytra and other types of XP farm competing for that fast XP, I'm going to knock it down to an A now. Building these farms is always a lot of fun. They're now very, very simple to make, and the Ender Pearl being less useful than it used to be, I think I'm going to knock that into the A. Now, the cave spider spawn egg, there's another video that helped blow up my channel. But in reality, when you think about all the different types of mob farm you have available, this is really not one that's fun anymore. The spiders are very difficult to work with. You can get a lot of cave spiders in the same area, but the result just doesn't compare to some of the other XP sources. So for that reason, I'm going to put it down in the Z category. We then have a creeper specific farm. Now, you can get gunpowder from the witch farm, which I think knocks this down a notch. I would have put it up here as A, as gunpowder is obviously great for TNT. You can use it for rockets, but I think I'm going to put it in the B category right here. Yeah, and that's where I'm going to put the skeleton one as well. I mean, you always need a source of bone meal, right? But the fact that you get your bone meal from a spawner, like a physical spawner, the block, it makes building a farm just very basic and simple. I'd be inclined to say that might almost be a C in terms of fun, but in terms of necessity and usefulness, it will get pushed up into a B. Right, then we have Zombie Farm. I'm going to go put this in Z because it's just like, it's the same as the skeleton spawner, right? It's a pretty naff project to do just because it's so old and been done 100 times and a gazillion different ways, but you don't want rotted flesh. And even as an XP farm, you would just find a skeleton spawner. They're both pretty similar frequency. Now when it comes to an all mob farm, I haven't really built too many all-purpose ones, but they're fantastic for getting a load of different drops. And if it weren't for the witch farm, which is technically included in the all mob farm, I'd say this would be an A. But it kind of gives you what, both of these, and they're in the B category, so I'm going to put the all mob farm in the B category. And then we have the witch. The witch farm is absolutely going up here. It's fantastic. And then the blaze one, you know, it used to be really great because blaze dropped double the amount of XP, but other farms have come along and I think knocked off the XP value of a blaze farm. It's a great fuel source, but that's all it is. You can use it for brewing a little bit. I'm going to put it in B. I really think they used to be a lot better, but now they're more of a B category type farm. We just did all of those right there, didn't we? We just did all of those, which brings us up to Ghast tier, with a skeleton skull, gold ingot, record farm, iron farm, flower farm, I guess, cobblestone farm, and a mushroom farm. Now, you can get building blocks from making a mushroom farm. I'm going to put this one in the E category. Actually, I'm not sure. Like, it's very difficult to automate it, and I've had this idea on how to automate a mushroom farm, but I never got around to doing it. I'm going to put it in the Z category with the note that if I could make this farm and it was actually a pretty fun project and it turned out to help me get the mushroom blocks that I wanted faster, I'd probably put it up into the E category. I'm also going to put cobblestone farms in the Z category. You just get cobble from mining with a beacon like crazy, and I just wouldn't want to build a farm for it. Now, when it comes to the Ghast tier farm, fascinating project, working with the ghasts, but I don't really feel like they're that worthful. Worthful is the word coming into my head. There was a time when having a regeneration potion was really fantastic, but it just feels like the game's gotten easier over time, so the necessity of Ghast tiers has gone down. Really fun, crazy technical project, but I think I'm going to put it in the C category, just because you don't really feel like you need Ghast tiers constantly. If they had more value in game, I think they could go up to the B tier. Now, when it comes to the With a Skeleton Skull farm, I think this is one that straddles the line between S and A, but getting beacons is so crucial. So crucial that it's got to go up there, I think. And also going in those nether fortresses and building the farm is incredibly fun. There's a variety of ways to do it. Yeah, it probably belongs up there. Now, gold as gold farm is going to be Zombie Pigman Farm. This is also going in the S category for me. This is the king of all farms, I think. The donut on the roof, it's also an XP farm, so keep that in mind. It is gold and XP. And you stand there, you just get XP delivered to you like crazy. It's so convenient. You can stand AFK. It's a really fun project to do. The way it takes advantage of the game mechanics. Everything about this one. This is the best farm in the game, in my opinion, right there. Then we have the music disc farm. It's actually a really fun project to separate your creepers and your skeletons from one another. Now, the discs themselves are not very useful, so I kind of look at it as being around here because it probably means you've got a creeper and skeleton farm going. Well, actually not a skeleton farm really, just a creeper farm because you only need one skeleton. I'm going to put this in the C category, mainly for how much fun it is to actually do that and to get it to work. It's quite satisfying to figure out how to get the creepers killed by these skeletons, so that is my reasoning for putting it there. Now, when it comes to this one, it feels like you should put it in the S category, but I've never built an Iron Titan and it's always just been something that's been available to me, and it doesn't look like it's really that fun to build an Iron Titan. It's an essential farm. It goes up the top here, but it's just never looked that fun to build to me, which is why I would knock it down to A, which is kind of mad because it's iron, but that's where I'm going to put that one. Then we have the flower farm. I would put this in the C category just because it gives you access to a ton of dyes, far more than the ones that we have down here in the E category, and they're actually pretty fun to do. There's a multiple variety of ways you can do it. Flying machines, you can use bone meal and water, you can use shifting floors, and so I'm going to put that in the C category. That brings us down to not too many options left. We have a guardian spawn egg, a fishing rods, so that's the AFK Fishing Farm, and we haven't done the top row yet, so let's fill this up. Totem of Undying, sunflower, bat, yeah, all of this. Okay, so I want to start off with sunflower because it gives you a dye, but it's so low effort. I'm going to put it in the Z category just because of how it's just not even, you know, anything, is it? A bat farm, totally useless. Going down the bottom here. I should have started left to right here so I can keep on top of it. Okay, Nether Wart farms are probably... I think it's fair to say they should go in an E. If they were the D category, I'd probably put the Nether Wart in the D. You need it for potions. It can be a little bit fun to create some shifting floors or use water. There's a variety of ways, but it just becomes a farm that's farmed like the same way as other things are. And then you've got to replant it, and so I'd put that in the E category right there. A trident farm, I haven't really built one myself, so I don't know how fun the project is, but because tridents are pretty useful, I'm going to put that in the C category. They're a really fun weapon, and yeah, maybe if I'd have built one of my own, I might have been tempted to put it a little bit higher up. But it's not an essential weapon, okay? Like, it's not so overpowered that you absolutely need it. So I think, yeah, I'd put it in a C, maybe the D category. Total of Undying, I'm actually going to put... You see, I think this item is almost useless just because most of the time when you get yourself into a situation where you die in this game, if you have to be holding it, you ain't going to be holding it. But if it were in your inventory and it worked, it would be fantastic to have them. So for me, I know how these things are farmed, and it's the raid farm itself that's really great. So if we were talking raid farm, I think... we're going to say this is a raid farm and put it in category C. Those projects are really cool. They don't give you a crazy amount of stuff though, but in terms of like the project and the fun of it, it's really top notch. So I'd say like in terms of fun project, it's like an A. In terms of loot, it's like an E or a Z. Okay, then we have fishing. Now this is a controversial one. I think fishing should probably go in the A category based on how useful it is. If we eliminate the discussion of is it cheating or not and say no, it's not cheating, we're just deciding this is a good farm, then it is like not fun or challenging to make, just because we have this super over-the-top, powerful, simple little compact design that gives you loads of stuff. Actually, I'm going to put it in the B category. You know, it's overpowered, but it's not really fun. It's like one of those pre-designed farms that you just... And, you know, it's not even a big pre-designed farm. It's like I was talking about in my live stream with the zero-tick farm. So that's where that's going to go. I'm going to put Guardian up in the A tier. Like, I don't even need to think about that. Maybe the drops aren't all that useful. You know, it's for making prismarine blocks and food, cod, but there's better sources of that. But it's such an amazing project to go in there, take over the temple and make it into your own. Has to go in one of the top 2 categories for me. And the Wither Rose Farm. I feel like it might be a little bit too early to call this one, but I've just done the project. It was challenging, but again, it kind of falls into that category of farm designs that are a little bit rigid. Like, I don't see too many other ways to make a solid Wither Rose farm. So it's a B or an A, and I think I'm going to put it in the A category because mobs can spawn on a block with a River Rose, and so it allows you to make some low in the world, kill the mobs quickly, and pick up their drop type farms. So it's very, very powerful. I think that's the reason I'm going to put it in the A category. That is all of those, which leaves us with 3 farms. Right, the last 3. Rabbit Farm. Oh my god, I didn't even know how you make a rabbit farm. And Vine Farm. So, vines are good for decorating, but that's about it. If they had 1 or 2 more use, well, they do actually... No, they make mossy blocks, don't they? Mossy cobblestone. They look cool. You can use them as floating ladders now, which is kind of good. So, I think actually E category, because they're a little bit more useful than you might think. Passive Mob Farm, amazingly fun project, can give you loads of drops, requires lots of work, can be very satisfying to get working. It's totally going up there. And Rabbit Farm, I don't even know how you make that. Like, a breeding rabbit farm, they don't even drop anything. I'm going to put it in Z. Go. Also, what was in that one? Did I not put anything in it? Maybe I... Oh, right, so Turtle Farm. Okay, so peeps are now... Okay, if you have suggestions for things that aren't over here, like I don't know if there was actually anything in there, let's put them in. So Turtle Farms are really cool. The mechanics are interesting, they're super fun to do, they're kind of new and fresh as well. They're not particularly... Do you know what? They're a B, but because they're not very useful, like you can make the turtle shell and that's about it, right? I don't think there's too much else. You can make some potions with it. I think it goes in the C category. Okay, Sea Pickle. You are coming up with all the things, chat, right now. Okay, so Sea Pickle's in there. Coral and Sea Pickle, because you can actually bone meal to make a coral. They're only good for decorating. I can tell you now, as just a decoration block, it's so simple. And only because Sea Pickle is lighting do they get to go in category E. If Sea Pickles didn't have lighting, that would be it. So TNT isn't farmable directly. Panda Farm for slime balls or whatever pandas have would definitely go in the E category down the, or Z. Just pointless project. Concrete Farm isn't quite what we're talking about. Magma balls from magmas exclusively. It's something that you tend to get in other types of farms that you built. So I wouldn't put that up there. And a cat farm. Parker. I want to build a cat farm on Hermitcraft. There's going to be a way we can exploit their bed mechanics. And because they drop like a variety of useful items, but they're also going to be incredibly slow, I've got a feeling it's not going to be a fun project and the rewards aren't going to be particularly yielding. So I'm actually going to put cat farm down there at the bottom. Stone farm would go in the same as cobblestone. Like you have to basically build the same project twice and, you know, use silk touch. Then we have berry farm and parrot farm coming up next. There's quite a few here that Mumbo missed by the looks of it. Also phantom farm. Go on then. Go on then. So a phantom farm's pretty cool. If you had more uses for the phantom membrane, I think it could go maybe a little bit higher. It's one of those interesting, different mechanics from other types of farms, so it can go in the C category. The parrot farm involves perimeters and all craziness, but you don't really get anything from it. Because, yeah, the parrot, I think I'm going to put it in the Z, just because, well, they're basically pets and they don't drop anything, so it's kind of useless. The sweet berry... We're yet to really see any good uses of this emerge. It's a food. If those sticky bushes that damage turn out to be good for something, maybe it can be bumped up a little bit. But while those mechanics are basically trumped by the wither rose being able to damage and kill, I think that one's unfortunately going to end up down there. You do have to get some foxes and set up a little collecting area, but because the foxes do most of the work, it's not the most difficult or challenging project. So that one goes right there. Now, last little scan of chat to see if anything has been missed. Yeah, people are really throwing in suggestions. Silverfish Farm. Silverfish Farm, I think, has the potential to be around here in terms of the idea of letting the silverfish go into the blocks, moving them out with pistons, farming them somewhere else, getting something cool out of them. But silverfish are utterly useless, so it goes in the bottom category. Literally the potential to be up here in terms of how fun and interesting the project could be. Now we're getting Obsidian Farm, so we're getting into territory of generating obsidian automatically, but you always have to mine it by hand, so I wouldn't really call that a farm, more just maybe a way to exploit. So last category I think that I see now is pillager. Pillager farming for Bad Omen, for their banners, and for crossbows. Because there are crossbows, I think the pillager farm would probably straddle the E and the D category, but we don't have the D category. And that is where I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for the suggestions in chat right there at the end of this video. That is my wall of things right there. That might even just be the thumbnail for the video or something like that. I don't know what the thumbnail is going to be. But there you go. That's my list right there. I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. If I were to make any changes, it would probably be like a D category where a few from these two sort of join together. And maybe the slime is an A, just because how useful slime blocks and slime balls are. Anyway, that's the video, peeps. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.